out there. I am your host. That's right. I'm back. It's Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. It's the interview series that has been bringing you brilliant and beautiful, as you can see today, guests from all over our globe. They help improve our lives and they help grow our businesses. Today's guest is a wowzer. Carolann is a 15-time Broadway award-winning entertainer and wellness expert. She works with positive psychology. She is a trusted health and wellness coach and a positive psychology practitioner. She made sure her intro had really good words to whisk my tongue around. She helps companies and individuals. They are going to discover with her their purpose and they're going to manifest their ideal lives so they can get all sparkly and glowy, be totally happy and joyful. And she's going to do this not just any old way, but using science-based resilience tools, intuition, and spiritual practices. So you're going to get all the things, not just one of the things, but all the things. And welcome, Carolann.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course, of course. I'm so excited. I'm like a Broadway junkie. So to meet someone and to be able to talk to them, and I can't wait to come to your show when they launch them again. I mean, when the world shifted, things happen, but things are getting back into place, and I'm just super super stoked that I'm going to be like up there.
Oh, you're so
I know
sweet.
her. I know her. So
You're so
tell us,
sweet.
how did this end up being your journey and your story?
Well, you know what? Thank you for having me, by the way. You're the ultimate manifestation of one incredible powerhouse force of nature, queen. Your energy is unbelievable. So thank you, first and foremost. But my journey, I was born in New York. I always start out with this because it's part of who I
Mhm.
am. I was born in New York and raised in Dallas, Texas. I'm not going to say exactly what year, but I grew up in Texas during a time where there's less diversity. We love diversity, right?
Mhm.
We had less of that growing
Mm.
up, so we totally stood out like you have no idea. And I
The
started,
Italians in Texas.
their neighbors were like, Mama, look at them people. And
Last one
so,
with the sketty noodle.
yeah, they're like, they're very, very odd looking Latinos, but we love them, Mama. We're like, oh, we're Italian. We love Latinos, but we're Italian. Um, and they would just be like, oh. So,
Mhm.
it was very fascinating growing up during that time. And I would use the contrast of being this New York Italian family living in Texas, which we love. Uh, I loved growing up. And I would use that in my comedy bits because
Mm.
I've been performing since I was 4 years old. And as an adult, I transplanted from Dallas to New York. I was brought up to New York City to open a very famous 5-star, $40 million operation in the heart of Manhattan.
Wow.
And yes, and most artists that are discovering their acting career, whatever it is, they get a side job, side hustle. Well, mine was managing a $40 million 5-star steakhouse. So
We won't mention any names though, but wow.
oh my gosh. And so the owners and the CEO brought me up from Texas to New York to open this place. I was only supposed to be there a month. I was living out of a hotel that they paid for. And during my 16-hour days, we'd have a break and I would rehearse doing a cabaret show. And then I put on the cabaret show. I got an agent interest and all this stuff from being there and in New York while I'm opening up the steakhouse. And so the owners were like, you need to be in New York, stay here. You know about being in your purpose, right?
Yes.
Everything lines up. And that's
Mhm.
what happened. They're like, we'll pay you a nice sum of money to work your ass off or butt off. And so we really worked hard to
Mhm.
build out this incredible operation. And I left. And you know, when you're doing something that used to feel right and you keep doing it and the body says, no, thank you. Um,
I am so right there at the moment. I know exactly. I'm all these other things are lining up that are brand new and fresh. I'm slowly, gently transitioning from it's not a, stark shift. I think it's the perfect way for me to gradually transition. So
yeah, it's
exciting.
yeah, I spent 10 years there troubleshooting for the company and opening other stores and being one of the folks in charge of the $40 million New York operation. And I noticed that, I started getting ill and like health stuff
Mhm,
started happening. So I took a step back because I was forced to, but also I could have stayed on and pushed
mhm,
through. But I was looking at all the wealthy people, and there's nothing wrong with wealth. But I was just noticing not a lot of happy people.
mhm,
And so I was thinking to myself, do I want to be 40, 50, 60, 70, saying shoulda, coulda, woulda?
mhm,
And what was the body trying to tell me? And so I got
mhm,
really clear on, when the body's screaming and you don't listen, now you
mhm,
have real problems. So I took a leap of faith without a severance package,
mhm,
without, you know, gave up my boyfriend, my swanky apartment in Manhattan, the perks of living in New York, the connections, the security, which I don't believe there is such a thing. And I jumped off the cliff because each year, each moment, I was working my tail off, but I
mhm,
was so in alignment of bringing my purpose to what it was that I was doing in the moment. So it
mhm,
wasn't like leaping off into danger zone. It was unknown territory. I could not see where I was going, but it was a knowing. It was a propelling, propel, launch
mhm,
versus and so it was a very strong conviction of like I'm here to do X, Y, and Z
mhm,
next. Um, so that's what helped me create my 15-time award-winning one-woman show, which I'm proud of. Why? Because it was an idea
mhm,
of taking all the standout moments of running a male-dominated restaurant in the
mhm,
heart of New York and playing these 20 characters that stood out, making it everything that I am, which is
mhm,
the musical theater part of me, the stand. I'm a professional comic. So the
mhm,
comedy was in it, the motivation, the inspiration, the rawness, the
mhm,
20% of the show is improv. So I have no idea how it's going to go. Riffing off the thrill of like the present moment of the audience and
mhm,
leaving them awake in their hearts of
mhm,
what else is speaking to you? Are you zoned out? Are you in autopilot? Are you afraid of listening to that higher voice? And
mhm,
that's what the message of the show is. And I remember not knowing how to launch this bad boy. And
mhm,
because I was so in line with my purpose and so clear on what it is I'm here to be versus do or have,
mhm,
doors, connections, go here, go there, go to this audition. Oh, ran into somebody. This person says, oh, you should take this workshop. And I'm like, oh, I'm in the workshop. Month later, the teacher says, you should take this. They're pros at doing one person shows and selling out theaters. Sign me up, and here I am connecting, doing comedy shows and touring because I was like, that's what I want to do. And being at the right other audition, we're meeting somebody who says, you should audition for this all female troupe. And I'm like, okay, that matches the desire. And it's just kept ping ponging of being
mhm,
aware and present enough to pay attention to the internal guidance system, the
mhm,
purpose, the desire, taking care of myself. So I'm energized enough to feel where I need to go and is this a yes or a no? And the reason why I'm proud of the show is, it's runs on off Broadway, which is Broadway, 42nd Street, Theater
Mm,
Row, and other places for solo shows. They're, solo show theater houses on Broadway. And
mhm,
proud of that because I toured the show internationally, Canada, the US, and I was just an unknown performer where a lot of the Broadway shows are created in the New York Fringe and International Fringe circuit. That's how
mhm,
they're created and launched.
mhm,
Usually a lot of them, like You're in Town, a bunch of shows. King's Speech came from um, the Fringe circuit. And to me, this is one of my favorite stories of being on time, in time, on purpose, is
mhm,
I left all that wealth,
mhm,
millions of dollars of stock options was being waved in my face at
mhm,
the restaurant and leaving all the 401k deferred comp, all that security, and now living like a free, free agent in entertainment, which is, you're
mhm,
not making millions yet. And so I was thinking to myself, this is the dollar amount that I would like to make from this show and show me the way. And so I remember somebody emailing me and saying, you should apply for the International Fringe Tour. Only 5 people in the US get in. And it was like literally 2 hours before the deadline. And I reached out to a isn't that crazy? I
yeah.
reached out to a family member and I said, look, it was thousands of dollars to put up front. Um, to for the theater costs and stuff. It's very expensive to do these things. And so I was like, you know what? This person said yes. They're like, you're probably not going to get in. I'm like, yes, I am. So be prepared to lend me the money. And so the next day I get an email that I was selected and I was like, oh my gosh. So
One of
people
5. I have to
want to
stop and
buy.
back. One of 5 in the country, 2 hours before you show up. This is like the story in the Bible that says, "Hey, will you work a whole day for this, or will you work an hour for this?" Like, how beautiful is that?
It made me literally, I felt so seen and heard by you
Mhm.
know, higher energy, whatever. Some people call it God, whatever.
Right.
I'm very spiritual, so
Me
whatever
too.
it is that people want to call it. And so I I was like, heck yes, this is a 100% go. And I was a one-man band.
Mm.
I created this complex musical and made it so it was in a suitcase where I could hire somebody to tech the show in each city so I could keep the profits high to keep me going and to keep me just focused on myself, not having to worry about anybody. And I remember just landing in Canada, my first stop. And it was I was watching all these other shows, big theaters selling out and like lines of people everywhere. It was literally, it's like the Tribeca Film Festival everywhere in all these cities around Canada. And so here I am feeling like a nobody. Nobody knew who I was. Other people have been performing. They all knew them, these other artists. And I remember the first few shows that I did, I was like, oh my God, this isn't what I thought. They're not getting me. I think I want to go back home. And I remember a friend of mine's like, just come home. And then I remember hanging up going, no, I'm not going home. I am not going home. And
Had
then
you
I was like,
called me, I would have said, "Suck it up, put your big girl pants on, and get back out there and connect with your audience." Because if they're not getting you, you just have to adjust the humor a little. I mean, every culture, country, area you were going needed a little something different sometimes from you. So, what happened?
it was insane. So I went back. I had 5 more shows there. And I was like, you are going to, because I went into it tiptoeing, apologetic for my bigness. And I was
Ah,
like, no, 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 no. You just go. Deliver
you.
2000% of who you are. Either
Mhm,
they get it or they don't. And so sure enough, the word started to get out. Like, who's this chick, right?
mhm.
So then the next stop, um, and I won an award there. But the next stop, I remember being flying from A point to B point and literally going back into, I'll never forget it. I remember going with my earbuds, with the music that inspired me, thinking about my show, the hours of doing this in front of Broadway people, Broadway director, all my Broadway friends, the hours I put into this of shining my light, delivering a message from a higher place. I have something to give. This is the amount of money I expect. This is the amount of words I'm expecting because I want this to give me credit to open doors to empower people. And I want to meet my husband at the end of this tour. And I want to dominate this tour. I want to show people what women are capable of. And I just kept amplifying and amplifying my own cheerleading squad in my head. By the time I landed, I was like, let's go. Where's my theater? Let's go. Where's the tech? Let's go. Opening night, here I am. And then I got all these awards, and it was like wildfire, and I was sold out, and then I was selling out before the next, like if I went from Calgary to Vancouver, I'd start selling out before I got there, and just word of mouth.
Yeah.
And all those words that I said that I wanted to do, empower people and dominate with love and inspiration and high octane energy. And people, I was being reviewed with what it is that I had in my head. So I ended up with the awards and the abundance that I asked for to the dime.
Mhm.
And I worked for every cent of that. And at the end of the tour, I was done with the Canadian tour. This is where it gets good. And I go home, and there's the hurricane, Katrina, I believe it was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
go home. The spirit tells me, go to Orlando, which I used to tour there all the time doing comedy. Like, why am I going there? There's nothing for me there. Oh, do your show there. But I feel like I'm not there to do my show. It was a weird feeling. So the blackout happened right as the deadline for that particular Orlando stop.
Mhm.
Spirit says, don't give up. Call them tomorrow when the lights go back on. I emailed them. I said, hey, you don't have to accept my application, but I was literally 2 minutes before the lights went out. And you know, New York is underwater, so I'm not telling you a fib. They're like, okay, we'll accept your application. If you get in, you get in. If you don't, you don't. Fine. So I was like, whatever's supposed to be. So the next day I hear that I got in. So I'm flying there to do my show. And then my voice within me says, this is going to be a different experience for you. You're here for another reason other than performing. So, a friend of mine from high school who I had who found me on Facebook 8 years prior, we kept emailing back and forth. He kept trying to see me. He was located in Orlando, but we went to high school together in Texas. And all my friends were in love with him, except for me. And so he was a friend from high school. And And so here we are. I'm in Orlando. I'm doing my show. I received like tons and tons of awards at this point and great reviews. Okay. This is show business.
Yeah.
I'm performing one night. I go into the audience to improv, and I'm literally pushed back into my chest. Like this dark, heavy energy was coming at me,
Hmm.
and I could feel it. And I was like, and I'm looking at this man, and I'm like, this person's not vibing with me and projecting not so nice energy. It was very, very clear. So the next day, there's a review. And I don't want to say what the heading said, but it was very, very nasty. And I don't know if I could say it on
No,
here.
probably not.
Yeah, it was
You'll have to
very
look it up or
nasty.
reach out to her. You find out yourself.
Yeah. It was an attack on me. Okay. And so it was a huge uproar in the entertainment, publishing, people that were writers, reviewers, everybody went bananas because this person personally attacked me. Wasn't a review.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like being violated, and the whole city saw it. And then I had to get up and perform comedy like nobody saw this violation.
Yeah.
And so people were mortified. They were boycotting wanting to perform because they didn't feel that this was a fair thing. It wasn't journalism. And
Yeah.
so I thought to myself, to be attacked like that, it was like my soul left my body. It was so painful. And then I used the resilient skills that I teach people,
Mm-hmm.
self-love, God loves me, right? I'm only trying to deliver possibilities and inspiration. And if somebody's triggered by that, then they themselves are not in a state of love.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so I was able to talk my way back into spirit back in the body type of feeling, got back
Mm-hmm.
up, did this show, and lo and behold, somebody in the audience had been touring for 3 months looking for two shows to feature in a very famous theater, an Equity Broadway house, to showcase, to have their show in the theater. I was
Mm-hmm.
one of them. So it was the end of his tour, the end of my tour. This man saw my show and said, I want you in my theater.
Because
It
you
was
went
the
to Orlando.
right. And so as I'm there, my friend from high school was supposed to come see me and he didn't show up. And I was like, I intuitively felt he got caught at work. So I left all the things for him to get through the door. But it
Mm-hmm.
was never discussed. It was just an intuition that I needed to do this. So he showed up the second night without telling me. We hang out as friends afterward, just like we were in high school. And
Mm-hmm.
here we are skipping down the street after my show. And each night we're hanging out as friends, listening to music, being, creative, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
laughing, telling jokes, because he's very funny and very gifted as an artist. And it ended up that I met the love of my life, who I already knew in high school. And so on my birthday, which was during that trip, I had written all the things to the universe, God, whatever, that I wanted to receive. And boom, 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 to the T, I received. So I was bawling with gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been married almost 10 years. And it is why am I effective at helping high level executives to celebrities to non-celebrities to male, female, younger, older? It's because I feel like I've walked the walk and talked the talk at taking risks
Mm-hmm.
and mastering whatever field I was courageous enough to go into. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, being in the wellness industry as well, I was honored enough with Equinox Fitness brand to be
Mm-hmm.
awarded with a very prestigious thing that they do, Award of Excellence. And
Mm-hmm.
there's thousands of amazing instructors, and that was something I asked to receive as well because I wanted to empower people. You don't need to be 20, size
Mm-hmm.
zero to, own your power, right, in that field. And so I feel like I've chosen to not hide who I
Mm-hmm.
am and go for things that are very uncomfortable and scary.
Yeah.
They're scary when you're older and the universe is saying, you should really get married because as you get older, da 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 da. Oh, you shouldn't be waiting for a husband like that. They're usually already taken and the hot ones are gone, or you shouldn't leave corporate because you're older. You should be saving money. Oh, why are you doing that kind of show? You really need to pick a lane. Oh, you're doing wellness fitness. Oh, yeah, that's for only 20-year-olds. And if I had listened to the peanut gallery, I would be a very sad person,
Yeah.
not living my truth.
Yeah.
And so here I am today, public speaking,
Mm-hmm.
TED Talk type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
combining something that is very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
And I was willing to be different even in that arena, be
Yeah.
willing to make a fool of myself, which thank God I didn't, but combining something very unique in the speaking realm that people aren't used to seeing,
Mm-hmm.
because my desire is to wake people up from the heart,
Mm.
right? What is your purpose? What did you forget about when you
Mm.
came in as a child? You were so passionate about that you just fell asleep at the wheel,
Mm.
thinking I can't, or fill the role of what my parents think I should do, or
Mm.
what's the safe road. And
Mm.
so I teach people how to bring your purpose to whatever it is that you're doing. That the ballerina that you wanted to be, there's 100 trillion versions of what a ballerina really means,
Right.
right? And so my desire really is to love as many people as possible. This unconditional love and joy that I have and passion for being so over the top present in the moment, of teaching people the power of that, because it moves mountains and it
Mm-hmm.
makes me even as scared. I remember when I was first doing comedy, I was super new, right? I'm about to go on stage, and guess who shows up at Gotham Comedy Club to do a surprise set is Jerry Seinfeld. And so,
No
yeah,
way.
yeah. And so you see, and there was a little bit of jealousy, with like, because I was a female, and, I took good care of myself. And, some of the female comics would be like, who's this woman? You get felt a little of that. And so I remember the people in charge of the theater at the comedy clubs picking the rookie to make him go up before me, right? And so after he came off a stage, I felt the sickness in my stomach, like, oh my God, they're not going to even listen to me. And so I remember that same feeling I had when I was flying
Yeah.
going to Calgary and in Canada when I was going to quit. That same thing, I was like, no, 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 no. Carolann, you are going to do you, okay? And take your provolone balls that you come out on stage with. And I want you to go full throttle, because if you even for an ounce of you dips, they're going to feel it. If
Yeah.
you're uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable. And I just remember ripping through the audience like the Tasmanian devil. And they were like, oh my God, who's this woman? And so afterward, a bunch of people came up to me, and the club owner was like, whoa, who are you? And I remember that's what helped get some attention on,
Yeah.
So those are some of my favorite stories of what brought me to where I am today.
So your big goal is to help people get their ideal life. And so some of the ways you're doing it is through comedy, through your Broadway show. How else are you doing? So you're keynote potentially speaking at a corporation. Are you doing any one-on-one, or is it really just
Yes.
speaking opportunities? Talk to us about how you're working with people.
So I currently uh, go into corporations, and I'll bring, it's like a menu that I offer. So
Mhm.
it's either a TED-like talk
Mhm.
about science-based principles of the science of purpose,
So yeah, like
resilience.
a keynote or yeah, talk
Yes.
like that. Mhm.
And then I also teach positive psychology, resilient, science-based resilience skills, the
Mhm.
science of human flourishing, because mental health there is no other conversation to have.
Mhm.
And if people are not thriving, corporations aren't thriving. We all know this. Easier
Mhm.
said than done. And so this is a huge, huge hot topic for corporations. So I do that. And then I also coach high level executives, because of my corporate background. I understand the
Mhm.
pressure of leading people and whatnot. And then also individuals one on one. So it's a
Mhm.
combination of, when I'm coaching one on one, it's applied positive psychology meets trauma therapy meets the science of intuition. And then I bring my comedic personality
Mm-hmm.
because science has proven that laughter and bringing out your personality is what brings it into the physiology, opens up
Mm-hmm.
the heart, and raises our vibration. So I am very funny when I work with people. When things are serious, I know how to get serious, but um, I'm uh, really equipped to do what I do. And I really, a lot of my clients said that, they've been in therapy 20, 30 years and they given me the greatest compliment. Not that therapy's bad, but you need it, right? But what I do is different. They're like, I've gotten more out of working with you in 2 weeks or a month
Mm-hmm.
and not to say that that's bad. It's just I do something different. And I think the marriage of the two is amazing, but
Mm-hmm.
those are some wonderful compliments that I humbly receive because I care. I care
Yeah.
about my people, and they can tell because it's
And
not a one size fits all way of coaching. It's literally everyone is completely different, and it's
of
really
course.
navigating, tapping into them at the highest level.
And sometimes this is in person on site, sometimes this is virtual, or hybrid of both. So there's
Correct.
lots of different options. Now, where do they find you?
So, CarolannValentino.com.
There you
You
go.
will log on and you'll be like, oh my God, there's all kinds of things here. The reason why my website has the comedic part of me, the fitness, wellness, the coach, the speaker, it's
Mhm.
because to me, those are all under the same
Yeah.
umbrella.
Hmm.
They really are.
I
And so
totally.
when somebody books me, it's like they're getting five things in one.
Hmm.
How can you, to me, I mean, what helps me help people is
Hmm.
because I treat people
The
360.
whole self.
Health,
Yeah.
wellness, movement, mental,
Mhm.
physiology, the whole shebang.
Spiritual. Yeah.
And because I'm actually living what I talk about, risk taking, speaking, whatever it is, I'm actually doing it. And I like people to see it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Wonderful. I love that. All right. Give us a tip. I know we've gotten a lot of juicy tips out of all these great stories you shared with us, but give us something someone can do today to head towards and manifest their most wonderful life.
I would highly recommend going back in time and go back to what you were doing at 6 years old and what really lit you up.
Mm-hmm.
And I would marinate on not thinking about it only, but get into what it felt like to be so free and joyful in the love of what it is that you came in with. Like
Mm-hmm.
young soul, nobody's talking you out of anything. Well, I'm too old to do that. I don't want that kind of talk. Stay in the presence of what you were like back then and live it, feel it, write about it, talk to yourself about how those aspects of that passion that you had for writing or whatever, how can you move parts of that into what you're presently doing at work with your children and notice the shift of how joyful, more joyful and lighter, and how the heart starts to oscillate differently when you wake that part of you back up because there's a reason why you came in like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't need to die. Doesn't mean you need to drop your family and go move to Florida or Vegas and do a show, but those,
It could.
whatever it is.
It could
Yes. Yeah.
be.
I'm not just, it could
I
be
was just
whatever you want.
I was just thinking about what you said, and the first thing that popped in my head was I remember myself standing on the front lawn and one Christmas in a long felt case. I had a shiny silver with two white ends baton, and I would stand on my front yard and twirl my baton because I knew someone was going to drive by and discover me. I was going to be discovered.
Oh,
Okay, I'm not even joking you. I was I was going to be discovered twirling my baton, and I was going to lead the Thanksgiving Day or the flower bowl parade. What is that one? It's the other one. It's the um, It's the New Year's Day parade. They always do
Oh,
it. It's all the flower petals on everything. Anyway, I was leading one of these really
oh,
big parades, and I was going to be discovered as they drove by. So I just kept twirling and parading my baton. I also was on roller skates and riding my bike. But then, I also remember between first. So I was living in this particular place when I was really young, from like kindergarten to second grade. Between first and second grade, I remember standing in the kitchen and saying, I'm going to be a writer, because I had started writing, and I really got excited about it at school. And I just recently realized and learned I'm actually going to be I am actually doing that. That is actually going to be my thing. But I hadn't thought about it because all of that happened in like that same house, that same neighborhood, that same time window of my life. From kindergarten to second grade, because by the time we moved to the next state and house, because I was military, I was in the third grade, but I remember standing in that kitchen saying that. So I had to have been in that age frame. uh,
that's insane.
yeah, I know,
I
right?
love it.
So really go back, because that's the thing. I'm actually in the middle of outlining my 7 novel series. We'll have the first one finished by the end of next year and launching sometime in 2026. So stay tuned and pay attention, because I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing. It's a historical fiction. It's not about all the genius business stuff I know. It's about other things that have come to me. So sometimes when you open yourself up for joy, love, and good health,
That is right.
creativity seeps right on in. And that was a story series that was gifted to me. So I'm a
That
super
is incredible.
yeah, crazy, right? Had you
That,
asked me 6 months ago, are you going to write a fiction series? No, I would have been no. What are you talking about? Maybe a few children's books with my kids. And I'm already publishing some songs, but I had no plans on the horizon for that. And that's one of two. I have another 5 book series that I'll be doing later after that one. So yeah, I'm coming, man. I'm coming to New York. I will be on
girl,
the Today Show
you're staying with me too. Remember that.
with my book.
I'm going to be like down the streets of Manhattan. Everybody, check her out.
So anyway, that's a great tip. So because you just don't know, rewind, go back in time, and figure it out. Because I actually made that statement out loud at that age, is standing in the kitchen. So fascinating stuff.
That is insane.
I know, right? Okay, you've been listening and you've been sharing and you've been following, and we love you out there. So stretch your fingers and get typing, because we want you to put the nonprofit cause that's close to your heart into the comments. Here, the point of this show and this space is to inspire someone to give time, treasure, or talent to a cause they care about. You know what? When you hit that share button, you just might inspire someone to look at your cause, Carolann's cause, or they just might go, oh, yeah, I have a cause that's close to my own heart and I haven't checked in with them in a while, because life gets busy. We get busy. But if we're all heroes if we get to inspire someone to do something good for someone else. So, Carolann, what's a cause that excites and inspires you?
Well, I am particularly passionate about the youth, the teenagers,
Mhm,
the younger folks coming against the mental health. So
mhm,
self-empowerment, mental health support, and
mhm.
because I'm based in New York City, Restore NYC. If anybody wants to check it out, they're doing great stuff to really support the youth. Uh,
Yes,
mentorships and courses, self-empowerment. Like
yes.
it's a it's a must. It's a
Mhm.
must.
That's right. We need to help. It's our responsibility as the leaders now and the mentors now to embrace and love on and give the resources and tools so that they can be the next step great leaders, right? They're going to be who's running the show while we're
Right.
a bit older. So we want to make sure they know what they're doing.
That's correct. Well,
I
you
know I'm
know, a lot,
pointing, but this is the thing of a mom. So
and then they know I make fun of them sometimes because they're used to being on the screens and not expressing. And
yeah.
so I come in so extra, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so extra," and I'm like, "Yeah." Wake up.
That's right. That's right. You want them to get excited and passionate about everything. The worst thing ever that was invented is the meh emoji, because
I
that
know.
is a horrible way to live your life. Just meh. If it's everything is that for you, then I feel like I just need to give you a lovey shake, splash some water in your face, throw some
Yeah.
confetti, set off some balloons, something. Drag you to Times Square for the drop of the ball, New Year, for the New Year. Something to give a spurt of excitement into someone's life. So I love that we talk about that. But you're not done typing. Yeah, no, don't go away. You can't hang in there. We're almost finished with the show, but we want you to share with us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business. Better yet, out there, if you've already been an author, oh, been there, done that, you say. Well, type your book into the comments, because when someone shares it, guess what? They just might be promoting your book. You might get some exposure. We might be featuring you without even knowing it. So with that, give us a book that inspired your personal life or helps you grow your business, Carolann.
Well, what inspired my personal life, I really, really love Conversations with God,
Good one.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Neil
Very
Walsh.
good one.
Yeah.
Really, really good one. Anything special about it, or it was a really good book for you?
It just it was to me very empowering because
Mm,
I was raised to believe in just the whole idea that we're all one,
mm-hmm.
and the
Mm,
love that we all love is the most powerful tool,
it really is.
the most powerful weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And
Highest
to hear
frequency.
highest frequency, man, it is high flying discs
Mm-hmm.
of everything that you want in life is can be found in the love state. And
Mm-hmm.
so to hear the conversations with God on different topics that used to get me crazy in my head, to hear
Mm-hmm.
a, a different perspective that resonated
Perspective.
with me.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Gives as a
Yeah.
perspective.
Like, well, what about this? And then you hear
Mm-hmm.
that. Ooh, what's the take on that? That's fascinating. So it calms my nervous system, helps me understand why things are what, and it just resonates.
I love that. I love
Because
that.
I'm the type of person stays up at night going, "Oh my God, all these people's children, and I'm worrying about this and the people
Mhm,
over there in that country, and it drives me
mhm.
bananas." And so
Yeah.
it's
It
not
makes you
helpful.
also feel a lot of gratitude. You don't have to
Yes,
we don't have to worry. We just have to have gratitude and put those people in the right hands with lots of prayer, in my opinion. In my opinion, and I totally
yeah,
respect your opinion out there. So, how about a book for you? Are we working on one? What's up with that?
yes. So my one woman show is turning into a book. Um, we're playing with the title, but maybe they could tell me what
Has
they
to be
prefer.
social media safe, remember? Usually I have to say preschool language to my friends, but on social media now I have to say social media friendly.
Yeah,
And I know you, Carolann.
yeah.
I don't even know the title of the book. I just already knew I had to say this.
Well, it's fine because I come out with my provolone balls, and
Yes.
that's my symbol of my confidence. Being an
Mm,
Italian girl from Texas, swinging
mhm,
my provolone balls like a cowgirl, you know.
mhm.
And so I was thinking of calling it. Well, I'll keep it secret.
Okay. I think you're gonna have to check it out and find out. And
Yeah.
about how long you think next year sometime?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, cool. Yay, that's exciting. And it's going to cover kind of all the aspects of your show. That's the main,
Yes,
and some of the steps they can take to use your process to go deep, because your show isn't just about entertainment.
that is correct.
It's kind of about digging in deep and walking away, not just entertained, but quite changed. And the
Absolutely.
book will give them that too. And I am imagining, I foresee in my futuristic eye with my call. There'll be a workbook and a journal
Yes.
and meditations and audios and all kinds of beautiful and music and songs. I think there'll even be songs. I mean, I'm just seeing all kinds of stuff in my head. So, uh,
100%. And because the whole premise of whatever it is, like these stories that I do in my show,
mhm,
highly big contrast. It was
mhm,
showing me contrast. And
mhm,
contrast is you're experiencing what you don't want, and you have to have that in order to experience what you do want or to
mhm,
reach for what you do want. And so when we live in a society where everybody wants everything to be perfect, that's not what makes change,
mhm,
you know? And so that's my positive spin on experiencing things that are not okay. Help you
mhm,
ask and create a high flying disc of love and a high version of that solution that
mhm.
serves all people in a higher way, you know.
It has been so much fun having you on the show today. I hope you have.
Yay. I love you.
I love you too. I think that means she's happy she's been here, ladies and
Are
gentlemen.
you
Uh,
kidding me? Oh my gosh. I'm so grateful.
oh, me too.
And thank you to anyone who's resonating, who was
Mhm,
attracted to tuning in. It was
mhm.
meant to be. And I send you waves of love and gratitude.
And I'll say to you, if you're thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm an author, I'm an industry leader, I can help people improve their personal lives, their business, all the things, well, then reach out to us and our team. We'll show you just how to get on the show. Now, before we say goodbye, we're going to ask you to share with us just one final thought, a piece of information or inspiration, inspire us as we close today.
Oh, love is all that matters. And the more you love yourself, the more change happens, not even in your reality, but
Mm-hmm.
creating massive change globally.
That's right. That's right. Every time you improve and love on you, you're loving on me and Caroline and all the rest of us. At least that's my opinion. I believe
Yes.
we're all energy and we're all connected. And like you said, we're all one and can get better, nothing but better from there. So, love, that's it. Caroline's final thought and inspiration for us today. Love, that's it. All we need is love. I think
Yeah.
someone else said that. We won't sing it, but love is it. Love is the thing. And until our next show, everyone, I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This has been Profound Professionals. And as always, I'm going to tell you and ask you, be kind to yourself out there and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.